Do you have any advice for, I'm sure people ask you all the time how to get in, and I can assume it's read the comments, have a disastrous Tweety Bird costume accident, and work in a wine shop as fast as you can. And besides those obvious
And have an Ira.
tips,
And have an Ira. Call Ira.
Yeah.
And I usually preface that story with like, kids don't try this at home because it doesn't make any sense. It's one of those like, I was sitting there and someone walked up and said, "Hey kid, you want to be a star?" And I was like, all right, that sounds great.
Yep.
So it's like, it's ridiculous.
And we are joined by the unbelievable, effervescent, absolutely
Iridescent.
iridescent. Ooh, I like that too. And that's also very descriptive of her. Julie Nathanson.
Thank you so much for having me and for inviting me. This is a really incredible thing that you're both doing.
Julie, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you for giving up your 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, Mother's Day morning.
Day.
No, this isn't giving up. This is actually offering me an opportunity to give, which is a beautiful thing. It is the thing that I know fills my heart and my soul. And I am a mom. So the idea of being able to show up here and talk to you wonderful humans, and Collette and I have known each other for such a long time now. And Joe, I'm such a fan of what you do, not only creatively, but what you're doing with 10,000 Heroes. To be able to do this on Mother's Day is a blessing. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here as really a small part of this giant thing that
Doesn't
you're
it
doing.
make Mother's Day just feel a little bit more savory, just a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Julie,
Absolutely.
when we were trying to throw this together, like literally this all came together in the last, week and a half tops. And when Collette and I are like, we have this crazy idea, like, and it's we have no plan. Let's try this. and then we're like, yeah, like May 11th and 12th, let's go. And then and then I get a text from Collette and it says, "Oh, that's Mother's Day." And then I was like, oh. Because I'm like, every time you try to do something, there's something you can't do.
Yeah.
It's Casimir Pulaski Day. We can't go. And I'm like, and then like I waited, and then I didn't know what to say, and I'm just like, I wrote which is my go-to. It's my first lesson in producing is like, just be non-committal.
Yeah.
Eventually someone will solve a problem if you just sort of waffle in the middle. Yeah. and then literally 2 seconds later she shot back, "But that's amazing," or some version of "But Mother's
Yes,
Day."
it's Mother's Day.
Mother. That was it.
I mean,
yes,
that's it.
Like what a glorious golden ring to grab and to say, yeah, that's the honoring piece for Charisse.
As we all know that we do not believe in coincidences. So, we just got to go along with it and say, yes, thank you for this opportunity. And thank you for this all coming together. And people like you who jumped in. And as I was talking to Josh Keaton a second ago, and I know.
I'm like,
I know. And you were the same. I have a favor. I have a favor to ask, is how I started when I approached everybody. And then I gave him a little ditty. And then before I could even send anything else, yes, send me all the info. Well, yes, what do you need?
I have to tell you, because I understand your production company is As You Wish, okay? And I know that ostensibly means that you would like to sort of grant to others the wishes. But I don't know that you're aware that it works both ways. So when Collette Sunderman texts me and says, "I have a favor," this is what I did. Scan down, charity, got it, okay, this date, yes. Now I have to figure out my schedule, which means that it took me until a couple of days ago. I'm not going to lie, it might have been within the past 24 hours. And I was like, oh, it's in person. Great. Glad
I do that. That's what we do these days. Yeah.
I was like, no, as Collette wishes. And so, listen, we can always find room for empathy and compassion if we are willing to feel it. It is a beautiful feeling to have empathy and compassion, and it's also scary. It leaves us vulnerable. We have to personalize something that might be painful for someone else. So whether you are watching because you love animation, or whether you are watching because this is a personal mission and goal for you to help children with blood cancers, it's all the same. We're all the same.
Oh, yeah.
So, most of us have personal stories of people we love who've gone through cancer. To me, it's part of celebrating Mother's Day as a mom to honor children everywhere, to honor you, Collette. I know you have your own history here. And so to be asked to be here was beyond an honor. And now I want to ask anybody who's listening, who's on the fence or watching, feels like old telethon, anyone who's listening, come call into the radio station. And meanwhile, what's this? Yeah. We don't even have this anymore. This means nothing.
We'll pick it up.
This means nothing. It's like anyone who's watching, scrolling. Ooh, wait, hold on, guys. I have to look at this for a second. Ooh, did you see? If you're on the fence about donating, don't be on the fence. The fence, first of all, the fence is uncomfortable. It's not padded. You really need like a faux fur thing, but it's very painful. I mean, you really if you're on the fence, just you can lay across the fence. Anyway, just donate, even if it's like $5, because it's the spirit. Right? It is the energy of wanting to give. It is the energy of saying, I don't want children to suffer more than they already have suffered by having cancer. Yes. The idea that there could be a pill that these kids could take to take away that body annihilation that the chemotherapy can do, which is such a blessing that it exists in the first place, but it sometimes lacks the targeting that we need. And for children to get to avoid going in for treatments, leaving the comfort of home to go in for treatments, to be able to gift that to children with a $5 donation, $10, $100, I mean, whatever, $1 million, whatever you have in your pocket. I think that's a huge blessing to give, and a blessing to give yourself, to know that you are a person of compassion, empathy, and love, that you'd want to give to others in that way.
Perfectly put, my friend.
So, Julie, that was a wonderful audition for next year's host. We got a couple of people we got to see, but listen,
you're hired.
You're definitely
welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. I accept wholeheartedly.
You don't always get the job in the room, but in this case, there can be only one.
I really appreciate that.
You are
Thank
the Highlander.
I have to also point out the origin of As You Wish. As we all know, Princess Bride, As You Wish means I love you. And that was my daughter Sharice's favorite movie. And so every night we did not say, I love you forever, because it was always As You Wish.
Oh my God.
So for you to bring that up.
Carmichael, I have an aortic rip officially.
And I've known you long enough. You've never told me that, but that was my guess.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about fun stuff.
This is fun. Love is fun. Tears are fun. Vulnerability is okay.
Good.
It connects everybody. Can't be too scared of it. No. It is what makes us human.
You didn't know that. My friend.
Unbelievable. Oh. Sometimes you just can't take it anymore. Usually around the 22-hour mark.
Yes.
And that's where we are today. So please.
Weepy. And we were about 23
that's all right.
ago.
You know, it's always right there below the surface anyway. Better to just cry it all out. And,
so true.
And hey, if you were watching, oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
This guy comes through every time.
I do say, Carmichael, I need a hug. I could have been having these all.
I think she could probably use one.
This is a moment.
Mother's Day.
Right? Guys, this is Carmichael.
This is the genius that is making part of this all happen. Well, no, you are.
Yeah.
You brought the cameras. You figured out the Zooms. Him and Tommy. These guys are the best. Oh, my God. The best hugs ever.
Right?
I mean, I walked in today and I'm greeted. If you're giving them out, I will totally take a hug. I am, listen.
Right.
Hi, nice to meet you.
The first person to donate.
Hugs are the best.
Next person to donate $250. Carmichael's coming to your house. Get one of these special 10,000 hero hugs.
I love that.
It is 100% certified organic and vegan. Vegan hugs.
Vegan hugs.
Right. Yep. No animals were harmed in the processing of this hug.
I love that. I love everything about this.
This is the greatest team in the whole world.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Julie, tell us everything.
Tell you everything?
I'm sitting here talking to you. I know you and I have worked together. I know through the fog of time and the midst of my ancient and dusty synapses, everything about you I am remembering. So they're somewhere on the Scooby days or something. We definitely
sure
did
it's Scooby.
something
We
crazy.
did a Scooby
Yeah.
thing.
There's
It's
been so many through so many iterations.
which is that. I mean, it's always like I'm always amazed by how easy it is to misplace certain projects, not because they're forgettable, but because we are so fortunate to be able to continue to work and tell stories. So every once in a while, there's an account on Twitter. I won't be calling it the other thing. And
Stay strong.
And it, and
We're breaking it. We're
and
breaking the back of the stage.
We're gonna break it, and we're like wear a little bird everywhere. And they'll do like a spotlight on, I think it's called the Voice Actors Spotlight. I'm plugging them all of a sudden. And they'll do, snippets of someone's career. And they found clips of things I had never seen and had never been able and had forgotten I had done.
Did that happen? Yeah.
Which is, I know that's like a thing voice actors say, but to me, I'm like,
no,
and now
I
I
see
get
that.
to be one of these people who has forgotten things.
Yeah,
That for some reason feels great.
Like, how can you
Elevated your
forget?
status.
Yeah, how can you forget? Well, and also there's something of a time warp aspect because here we are at Salami Studios, and all hail Salami Studios and the wonderful staff here, and Gary Falcone who donated the studio space.
Thank
Yes.
you, Gary.
We've done so many shows here. Being
my
here,
big brother.
right? Being here. It's sort of like a time warp, right? Because we've been here for years and shows have come through, and it's like you live lifetimes within these walls and within these halls and with people that you are building relationships with. And you think, we'll never forget this, we'll always do this. But then the next one comes in and sort of wipes that out. It's like sort of mushes together and becomes one big, beautiful thing, which was what we wanted to tap into with 10,000 Heroes, of that energy that you're talking about, this loving community of people who do this work, who do it with their heart, who put their life's breath into it and breathe life into characters that, I mean, how many stories have we heard?
No, I can't tell you how many over the last, 2 days, 1 day, 24, how much, 10 months.
7 weeks that you've been here.
Gosh, it's been 10 months.
Let me tell you.
It's been about 70 years we've been sitting here, and I've just been here and waiting for all the 10,000 heroes to show up.
They keep watching. They're waiting for me to die on
In the parking
camera.
lot. And they're all there. They towed my car. The wonderful stories and remembrances of this is where I did my first gig, or this is where's the turkey bacon, or why does this place smell like salami in the afternoon, turkey bacon in the morning,
Right. What was it? I think Sean said it was turkey bacon, dust, and electronics. That's that's the smell.
That's
electronics.
That's
It's
perfect.
a special mix. It's an effervescent blend.
Salami's great.
You said we have to.
Meanwhile,
In the morning.
Febreze is watching, and they're like, "Sweet, thanks for the idea."
Yeah, right.
Salami. I don't think I want that, but yay!
Salami Studios.
When what do we do for vegan salami?
That's exactly what we do. Vegan salami.
Well, one of the things that we want to be able to do, because a lot of people we think watching are interested in the backstories of the voice actors, and of course everyone wants to be into the voice acting piece, even though it's not really acting. We learned on this podcast there's real acting and then there's voice acting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We've been doing a lot of those air quotes.
Yeah.
Real
acting.
actors.
I'm sure people would like to know what brought you to the work. How did you find your way? What was the beginning? Where do we start?
I was very, very lucky, and I started working very shortly after graduating from undergraduate school. And I went to Tufts University. I was commuting to New York City from my family's home, also on the East Coast, and I was just really, really lucky. I very quickly started working as an on-camera actor. And at the time, I didn't have a commercial agent, but I had wonderful, theatrical agents. And I was working on a soap opera, and I was part-time. At this point, I moved to New York properly. And I was working in the oldest wine shop in America. And this man walked in, Ira, who I really feel like I need to get back in touch with and tell him this story because it's been so long.
What were you doing, though, in the oldest wine shop in America?
I was, thank you for asking, selling wine. I was the first woman.
Sorry, I was assuming.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really important.
I was drinking. It was
I I was just hanging out there. Just
Where is the
knocking
oldest
stuff.
wine shop?
It was called Acker Maryland Condit. I think it is called Acker Wines now. But they'd never had a woman working there before, and my
Since 1822.
Exactly.
Female free since
Female
the beginning
free.
of time.
Well, and this was, the old days where it was slightly more acceptable to say, hey, Julie, we can just leave you on the sidewalk with a sign and everyone will just come in. And so they would have me
selling.
selling. But my father and stepmom were enophiles. And so I knew more about wine than I guess your average bear. So they hired me. And so I'm behind the counter. And a man walked in. So, of course, when the men walk in, they were like, oh, Julie, you have to serve this person. So this man, Ira, walks in, and he has what I like to call projectile Barbies. They were not. They were fairies with little wings that he would spin around the entire. So Ira was a toy collector. And so he came in a wonderful state of chaos with a bunch of toys. And he was so entertaining, and I sold him a 91 Meritage. And then he said, well, what else do you do? And I was like, well, why are you asking? And he said, because you do something else. I said, well, I'm an actor. He said, oh, okay. So then the next day he comes in, he's like, you are an actor. I was at the gym and I looked up and you were on my television. You were on, it was a soap. You were on One Life to
You were
Live.
pretending to work out.
You were pretending to work out and you were really happy. And you were doing this because that's what people who are really serious about working out do. We do this. It's almost like we have maracas. I'm not a percussionist. So he said, yeah, I was, you were on the TV. He's like, you were great. And I work out next to a manager. Do you have a manager? Do you want to meet her? And I was like, yeah, all right, that sounds great. It's like the most ridiculous story. So I meet with her. She's lovely. And she's like, says wonderful complimentary things, which I will not say because it's mortifying. And she said, but I represent like children mostly. But what do you need? And I was like, I don't have a commercial agent. She was like, great, makes a phone call and basically got me into CESD. And I have only ever been with one agency. So that was a really long time ago. Cut to about a year later, I was in Los Angeles doing another on-camera show. And something I had done in New York, I had heard that there were these things, and I like to do my elderly voice again for this, so excuse me. There were these things called the message boards, and no one knew what they were, but you could go onto your computer and you could see, and no one at that point was saying, don't read the comments. So I was like, I'm going to read the comments. Oh, I wonder what
Hi, America.
Hi. So I look, and this is the direct quote.
Yeah.
It was, air quotes for you. She's real pretty and all, but I have to turn the volume off on my TV because it's like Alvin and the Chipmunks have invaded my living room.
Right.
And I was like, first of all, bleep you.
Yeah.
Second of all,
For starters. Yeah.
that sounds like an amazing career.
No kidding, right?
And to be honest,
Compliment of all time. Are you kidding me?
right.
You sound like one of the most popular cartoon character franchises ever.
Now listen, for on camera, I understand. That's not advantageous, certainly for a long-lasting career. But at the time, the idea of doing cartoons had never occurred to me. So, and I always feel embarrassed admitting this because so many of my colleagues and friends are like, I grew up just wanting to be a voice on a cartoon. That never occurred to me. That
You found it in the chat.
Well, that was actually Scooby. Well, to me, I was like, a Smurf is a
It was
Smurf.
a troll.
I'm not thinking
You got
about
trolled
just
and
like-
you found a career.
Well, but that's also, if you have met me,
Love
it is a
that
bit
guy,
of
check.
mindset that I like to hold anyway, which is like, what's the gift?
What's the
gift in this? So,
And you could have typed back, you would make an excellent casting director. You've got an ear. Most people
you
don't
are
have.
fantastic. Thank you so much. I will be hitting up the Chipmunks to see if they need another.
I'm heading out to California.
So because I was repped at CESD, I called up the agents and I said, hey, listen, I'm out here in LA, but when I get back to New York, can I meet with the voiceover department? Because, I'm trained as an actor forever. And, I was trained as a classical singer. I know how to manipulate my voice. And can we just have a conversation? So I met with the agents and they said, yeah, we'll send you out. And my first audition was for Lifetime Television, and it was just, a promo gig. And it was for The Place, which was a block of shows. And it was The Dish, The Wire, Pandora, 3 Blind Dates, The Place on Lifetime, Come As You Are.
Wow.
And I booked it, and it
I just
paid
poured
my
myself
rent.
a bottle of wine. Did you
I
hear
know.
that?
Did you buy yourself some wine? You should be careful if I sell things. Apparently,
I just changed
there's-
into a velour tracksuit. The ice cream bonbons out. That
I'm
was
telling
fantastic.
you, man, there is some kind of magic. So it paid my rent for a year. It was a continuing gig.
Oh, I love
And
that.
that started my whole career. And for me, I really enjoyed on camera. But as much as I am a person who will look for the gifts, I'm also very aware of limitations. And I knew that I would be limited in a career doing on camera. I love doing performance capture. That is the closest I really come these days. But once I found voiceover, I fell in love. I don't think it's a coincidence that part of what I loved is that you don't have to see what I look like, which meant that I don't have to see what I look like. So I didn't have to count myself out for what my imagination could do anymore. So it wasn't only they're listening to my voice and I can be anything. It's I don't even have to be barred and banned by myself. And I could find all of these voices and all of these characters I never would have had the guts to find. So now I can play villains and destructive creatures where normally I would have felt like, well, no one will see me that way because I'm Alvin and the
I never really
Chipmunks.
thought it was very limiting. Your what your body is very limiting and what you can,
So you can
go
disembody and
Yeah.
embody
Yeah.
Yep.
something on a whole other
Yeah.
vibrational level.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And so it's been very
Very
freeing
cool.
for me. I feel like I'm
Because you are horrible to look at, and I can just imagine.
I know.
Just
I'm
imagine
so
how
sorry. I'm so
the minute people look at it, like, oh, she's off camera.
Yeah.
Have you thought about voice work, Julie? I wonder.
you're very sweet in
Have
like
you
a
thought
really
about putting-
reversed weird way.
Putting a bag over your head, Julie.
Very,
It's just,
you're very sweet.
You know, you have to be Elmo in Times Square. We've thought about that.
Wait, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I wasn't Elmo, but
oh,
before I found voiceover, or before it really found me, I was on this soap, but I was recurring on the soap, and I needed to make some extra cash. So I thought I'm a really fast typist. I love it. I'm going to be a temp worker. And they were like, you're not fast enough. You should do character work. And I was like, ooh, what's character work? So they had me dress up as Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I want you to remember about Tweety Bird. I don't know if you can picture Tweety Bird right
Oh,
now.
the head.
Tweety Bird. Thank you, Collette. The head, which was so heavy and so large that I would, because I am,
see this.
How does that work?
I was
Yeah.
toppling,
Right.
and it was huge, and
It's like a light bulb with legs.
it was not a
she's the right height.
delicious smelling.
Oh, I can't even
Oh,
imagine.
right.
Oh, stop.
What month are we talking?
I don't remember. I lost time there somewhere with the fumes. So, but I had to like jump around and like get people excited about what I was. And
Of course.
here's my tiny little epilogue to circle back. So Ira the toy man, I really do have to talk to him after this. It has been too long. Ira the toy man came to see me jump around as Tweety Bird,
Right. Supported you.
and he
I
took
love,
some
I love
video.
what you're doing out here.
He took some video. And he got very excited, and he put down the camera, and he was very excited, and he picked me up. And the head fell off.
Oh,
And so the head is on the ground. I'm on the ground. I'm not going to say children were screaming,
right.
but if you would
they were
imagine
screaming.
it, the story is even funnier. So just pretend that the children were screaming, but it was mortifying, but also a good story. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there's the gift.
And from there, we have a question. We have a question from the chat.
We have a question.
Julie,
Yes.
Okay.
what was it like working on? And I'm gonna get this right.
Okay.
The Powder Fluff
No,
gals.
they're Powerpuff Girls.
Oh.
The
Powerpuff Girls.
I got it wrong.
what were
I think
they
it's a typo.
called again? So the Powerpuff Girls, which was I think one of the first gigs I did here at Salami, unless you brought me in for Johnny Bravo first.
I know, I can't. I
I don't remember which one.
Johnny
was
Bravo.
First. Johnny Bravo was first.
Because Johnny, we started at Hannah. We did them
And
over
they
at
came
Hannah.
over here.
Powerpuff Girls, we brought the series.
Yeah.
And I kind of think I remember us doing it over there, but I think it was Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo, and I know that I played a woman who tried to get Johnny to do a race. It was a charity for the bald.
That's right.
For the bald.
For the bald.
It was,
Oh,
would
wish
you
Liam
like
was
to
here.
join the race? For the race? Hello. Another one of my brilliant characters. So, but that was so much fun. And then Powerpuff Girls, you brought me in, and I got to play Robin Schneider. And it is so funny to me. You never know which characters will be memorable.
Right.
But Robin Schneider, first of all, I am not on the TikToks because I can't obsess over one more thing. But I understand, like, she kind of had like a day again. She had like a viral moment.
Everyone fell in love for her.
Yeah, I fell in love with her again. And and people send me things now, but her apparently memorable line was, "Don't worry, Professor, I was an accident too." Which apparently is everywhere. And it's wonderful. And it was so much fun. And I really do remember in the session looking and seeing Tara Strong to my right, if I remember correctly, and being like, oh, wow, that is incredible. And I was so early in my career, and I felt I was
We're at the back door because I'm not kidding you. Bubble.
She did a great service to LA County because the dog catcher just had to pull the truck up. And they all just,
Yeah.
they're all gated in, penned into the back of
That
Salami.
voice.
the voice was
Yes,
so high,
yes.
and it
Yeah.
was
Saccharine
really
sweet.
like but it was also like a master class. Like those early sessions were such a master class, and I think at the time I was
That's another reason to have an ensemble recording when you have, seasoned people in the booth, and then you have people who are just coming up, there's no better class than to be behind the mic with others.
That is my soapbox. I'm glad you brought it up
Yeah.
because we've got to bring back getting together in this industry because
Yeah.
the apprenticeship that happens by being in proximity to people who are mastered it, and that mastery comes with a willingness to share it with people who come in and resonate. You want to pass that on. You can't get it because we were on a Zoom together and both of us were in the closet. You just can't get it.
No, I thought, I'm good. I get to see everyone all the time. Zoom, Zoom. And then we ended up during COVID breaking and going, and it was one of the writers on her wedding celebration. And Tommy Warburton was there.
Oh,
and so, and I'm hugging him and I go, okay, I didn't realize how much I missed this.
Yeah, that's right.
This is
Giving someone a hug.
crazy,
Right.
right? And it was like, no, there's a huge difference.
the energy is different. And I was thinking about this when you were both talking about how you decided to work together on this, right? It's Mother's Day. You do because you don't want to shut it down, right? And it's such it sounds so acting 101, but it's always the yes, right? Yes, and so Collette says yes. That's right. It's Mother's Day, and it's moving forward with whatever energy has come toward you,
right.
and that's what we get in the room with everybody else. And it's not only making it sound more natural, which is a beautiful thing.
Huge, yes.
Yeah.
It's being able to feed off of each other's energy and finding nuances and finding moments always of levity and connection. So it's. And then part of the art, of course, is being able to do that without the ensemble. So it is a good muscle to stretch and to strengthen, but the fun of being all together. I mean, art is by nature collaborative.
And animation is the
absolutely.
most collaborative.
Yes.
So many pieces of the puzzle come together so beautifully. And this is the same conversation we had with Terry Kalajian, who's an executive for Gaumont, and she was on a Zoom from Paris with us this morning. And we just talked about, all those moving parts, all those people, but you're not gonna stick around in this field if you don't love it. If there's some part of you, your heart doesn't connect to the light of the work that we're making, to the joy that it sends out, to the shared experience with the fans and the creators and the writers and the producers and the executives, like everybody who helps make this whole thing run, is a part of this. And well, I guess that's a good touch point with
Yes.
Animation Heroes, our podcast here, and 10,000 Heroes, which is our community. And so 10,000 Heroes is, I've been through it a million times. So if you want to hear the spiel, head back in the timeline. But ultimately, the donate is down below. 10K Heroes is the website, and we are here talking to the effervescent. My brain just locked us. Iridescent, effervescent.
Julie Nathanson.
So we have to do that every now and then because people come in and they're new and they don't know what's going on. So now you're all caught up. No excuse not to donate.
No excuse.
We'll come to your house. We will send Carmichael to hug you.
Yeah.
That's if you missed that
want
part.
that.
That should
That's
be
highlight reel. We're going highlight reel.
If you do any like bonuses, I feel like that would be a really good prize for like the
Yes.
high rollers.
Right.
The high rollers.
Yeah.
So this came in the chat.
Okay.
Our Amber Jones in London, who is our chat monitor, donated $100 and wants to say hi to Julie.
Hi, Amber. Hi, Amber.
Oh,
Hi.
so awesome.
I know.
Amber, thank you so much for donating, and thank you so much for participating, and for your generosity. If I remember correctly, I think Amber is somebody who's also part of our community in a way, and so that's a really
She will be
wonderful
very
thing.
soon.
And she's already on Team Hero. We got it. She jumped in, willing to moderate the chat, willing to spread it over her social. She landed it in UK.
Yeah.
Actually, we're on the beaches in UK. Like
It's
she's
amazing.
got it. We got UK and we parachuted into Paris. So we are
Wow.
we're starting to move across the continent.
Yes.
And
It's almost like the auroras
it is.
floating across the continent.
I love that.
Look up in the sky.
Come down a little bit further, please.
Right.
I know.
Just a little bit. Come on.
Who was it that was? it was Roger.
Oh,
That was
it's gotta be
out
Roger.
looking at the sky. and then he-
Before you even said it, I'm sure it was. I was like, Roger Craig Smith. Roger Craig Smith.
Absolutely enjoying the
gosh.
whole thing.
Oh
I mean,
my
he
God.
holds up a camera and his phone. It's like,
I know.
Come on.
Roger owned the entire Zoom platform. Like, I'm surprised Zoom didn't break down with the amount of entertainment wattage that Roger put through Zoom last night. Zoom's not built for that.
It is something, going back to the idea of collaborating together. It is what we do to tell stories. And, cartoons, all animation is now, for adults and children. We have so many different kinds and styles of stories that we can tell.
Right.
But ostensibly, animation really began for children.
Right.
And so that you've asked people in the field of animation to come in.
It was the most natural one
Yes.
to one. It was like, wait a minute, we're trying to end chemo for kids, and we do animation for kids, and kids watch animation, and this makes sense. This has to
makes
happen.
sense.
We also all have the stories, or most of us, I should say, have the stories of finding out that a child loves a character that we've done. And it's making me remember that Roger Craig Smith, I had him call my child when my kid was very young as Rip Slinger from Planes, and then later Captain America as well. I think Roger did a couple of those for me. But I've had the experience of being told that a friend's child, is enamored of a character that I do, and I'm like, just let me talk to them on the phone, and it's such a beautiful reminder of how these moments touch people. And because it's not in front of an audience, sometimes we can forget. Right. So all of the animation people who are here, you have really beautiful human beings here at your studio today, and everyone who has participated. This is a microcosm of what we already do, which is trying to use storytelling,
Completely.
right? Connect with people, to bring people together in a way that can be helpful.
Yes.
Laughter is helpful,
Yes.
right? And so if it's a funny cartoon, it's helpful. If it is a connected moment with empathy and compassion, as we said before, it is helpful. So I love thematically that you have sort of stuck with the animation world. And I think anybody who's watching this would have enough of an impact in their own lives to draw upon from being moved by stories, moved by animation stories, moved by entertainment, to want to help some children who, might feel a little bit more comfortable laughing if they were more comfortable physically in their chemo treatment, as opposed to a traditional chemo to be able to have a pill. I think that sounds like a pretty incredible option to give children.
I think we'll pick that door.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's behind door number 1. Yes, please. Now.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
Well, one of our slogans has been "Be a hero," and we've been talking about a little bit about what a hero means. A hero, we just sort of roughly defined it: someone who sees something that happens in front of them, they can do something about it and do it.
And do it.
Well,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the other hilarious thing of this, like our whole thing about this is, wow, what if it was the most fun and most positive thing happening, speaking of positivity, on the internet this weekend for 24 hours? Like, just open the window and see who flies in. And I love what you're saying here about as funny as it is, are you a monster? Going with negativity is certainly there's plenty of that on the internet, right?
Yes.
And
You don't
in the
need to add
comments,
to
and you
that.
can. Well, actually, that dovetails me for a second. Do you have any advice for I'm sure people ask you all the time how to get in, and I can assume it's read the comments, have a disastrous Tweety Bird costume accident, and work in a wine shop as fast as you can. And besides those obvious
And have an IRA.
tips,
And have an IRA. Call Ira. And I usually preface that story with like, kids, don't try this at home, because
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. It's one of those like, I was sitting there and someone walked up and said, "Hey kid, you want to be a star?" And I was like, all right, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. So you've already had people tell you about I want to be a voiceactor.com. I'm sure.
I don't think so.
No.
So D. Bradley
I think
Baker.
they're holding out on us.
has
Nobody
a-
said a thing about that.
No.
There's resources that people don't even know exist.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to share this with you. So D. Bradley Baker created a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Many of us have, through the years, appreciated being able to direct people there. In terms of like practical skills, it is important to be an actor, and that doesn't mean to go back in your life, make different choices, and become an actor. It means take some acting classes. It means get comfortable knowing what to do when you see a script, and get comfortable playing off of other people, get comfortable considering characters, get comfortable saying words you didn't think of and understanding how they play into a scene. And that really gives a foundation.
What's the cutoff? Where are you not allowed to be an actor anymore? What age can you not start?
When you're dead.
See?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not,
Yeah.
I just,
If someone out there is going, my time has passed.
I think it depends, Joe, on how you define be a voice actor. Is it too late for me to become a person whose entire world revolves around this industry, and this is all they do, and they make a solid living doing it, and they don't have the time to put in, and they don't have the means to put in, then I can see needing to shift what that means. But to me, if this feels like something that would bring someone joy, if this would bring you joy, follow it. To me, the existential crisis is not only around the concept of mortality and meaning and purpose, but it's the frustration of knowing that our lives can take nearly infinite paths, and we will only ever know the one path we take. All that means is we can't go back and change the pathway of our lives, but we can make better decisions or new decisions or exciting decisions moving forward. And so if I close that door for myself and say it's too late for me, just like I was, where to me the microphone being in a soundproof booth opened up space for me to go, wait, I could be a monster, not the kind who doesn't donate.
Right. I thought
Let's
this
be
took a turn
clear.
for a
I
minute
know.
there. Yeah, I think we lost the thread,
But
Julie.
the kind where you are, I think you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
so not cutting yourself off. So I think that if there is a sense of joy and passion and excitement that comes along with the idea of playing with voices, then play.
Yeah.
To me, the best advice I can ever give anyone is to know yourself well enough to understand where your blocks are. Because we stop ourselves from coming to our full potential or fruition or greatest sense of play because we decide we're not allowed, or we feel shame, or we think we're not enough. But the more we allow ourselves.
But that's a muscle, and it's a muscle that you can exercise, and a muscle you can go. I jokingly say, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to do movies. I don't do animation. I want to sit and read books and drink coffee. That's all I want to do.
Right.
But it's not my highest choice.
Right.
You know, the choices that come before me, they're by far not the highest
The least
vibrational.
resistance.
Right? It's like bing, and you're like, you can't not
Coffee
do
and books.
it. And that sort of comes with the muscle of, look at all the fabulous things that happen when you just say the yes instead of the no. And it's not just say yes to everything. It's like the one thing, the thing that's like knocking on your skull.
Yeah.
And you're going, nah, I'm not, I couldn't be an actor.
Right.
You know?
When you close the door to something that feels like it could fill your soul, right? A lot of times if an actor says, well, I really wanted that role, but, I would never get it.
Right.
I'll be like, what? Are you the casting director?
Right.
Are you Collette right now?
Yeah.
Are you making the decisions? Why are you taking Colette's job?
Right.
First of all, I wouldn't cross her.
Yeah, exactly.
Second of all, let her make that choice. Because like we
I love it when you guys, or not you, you may have done this, where you're on a roll and you're in the midst and the delivery's everything. And then you go, no, and you stop yourself. My job. You keep going.
Right.
I'll tell you. Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah. Do it again.
So that, and I am sure that I have, I'm sure I've committed that sin with and in front of you, and because it's very familiar when you did that. But it would be because if I don't feel it, okay, that's great. That's when I'm on my own. When I'm on my own, I can be my own director. But not when I have my director, not when it's Collette. Right. And speaking of joy and passion, I don't know the number of years, Collette, that you have been doing this, but you have the exact same energy, the same smile, the same joy, the same laugh, the same hilarious little snippy side comments you give us that always make me laugh. Like, well, all right, we'll change it now. Like, however you do it, I love when you make your little aside jokes, and you are so passionate about what you do.
Love my job.
I am
it
comes through.
Blessed.
And so being able to maintain the love for what you do is huge. And choosing the things that you love, that's another part of what we can do. And so showing up today is something that I love. I wanted to show up today and be here with you guys and be here and hope to raise money for 10,000 Heroes and help children with blood cancers.
I have an update on that. You guys, in 22 hours or so, 22 hours officially right now, 22 hours, we have raised over $20,000.
Yes.
Amazing.
That is awesome.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
We had no marketing of this. We threw it against the wall. We had nothing.
Oh my God.
We did nothing for this.
Wow.
Except show up. These guys did everything.
And brought everybody
we ran our
together,
mouths for
you
20
guys
minutes.
did, yes.
It's been, and we're still climbing. Like, people are just waking up. Things are happening.
People are just waking up.
It's just going down, right? It's
you guys are just going to sleep. It's fine.
Right? Like, they just keep coming in. Oh my God.
Harder than I thought.
Dave Wilson just gave us $10 out of Roxanne's. $10.
Thank you.
Are you kidding me, man?
That's great.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
$100. Abraham Hernandez. Abraham, you're a hero.
That's my son. That's my baby.
There he is.
Yeah.
People show up. Well, and that's the other piece of this. When Collette shined the Collette Sunderman light in the sky,
like Batman, I'm the commissioner.
Everyone responded with love, and we talked about this was just an exercise in love, and love is the vibration of the universe that is manifested this entire thing. Yeah. Everyone popped on this thing because it is 1-to-1.
Yes,
and everyone loves you.
Oh, and everyone loves a great cause.
Yeah,
this is waiting for us to just push the money to it.
Right.
Make it manifested. Or manifested.
Take that love and put it here and send that love out to all of the moms today who are dealing with children with pediatric cancer, all the kids today who are diagnosed and going through treatments and are suffering on Mother's Day with the pain of this, and all of the siblings of those kids who
Man,
are
think about
struggling.
that decision.
Which the LLS and Dare to Dream, which is the initiative that we're driving for here, that was something they really pushed clearly to me, because I'm like, oh, these poor kids with cancer. They're like, it's not just the kids, dummy.
No.
It's what about the sister who they're not doing soccer practice because mom and dad got to be at the hospital, nobody can take her, so she's not on the team this year. We're gonna wait this one out and see how it goes. Or the brother who doesn't get the attention and he's quiet and he's in the corner and all these things, right? That are just the invisible pieces. The fathers, who are struggling and the powerlessness of the parents, right?
And the divorce rate
And
of said children
on Mother's Day,
parents.
all the single mothers out there
yeah.
that this has crushed and destroyed the
I was a single mom when this started.
right.
Yep. I literally just was filing within weeks before she got sick. It was hard. Yeah, except I had my family. They rallied. So yeah, you have that. But the decision of it, I didn't have any other children, so I didn't have that. But there are many of families that were in there.
But the dedication that you had to show up and to call upon the support that you had, that is beyond words, beyond measure, beyond love. And
No, it's mama's love. We don't
that's-
have any, not even a second, not even a choice, not even a thought.
No.
They are there. We are strong.
Yep.
Yeah, talk about and fathers. Oh my gosh, there was single fathers.
It happens to be Mother's Day, so mentioning mothers comes easily.
Yes.
But I really do appreciate what you're both saying about, the full system, the full, you can have the family system. So each person in the family system, like any other machine, this is general systems theory. But if one little part of a machine changes or breaks or, does one little shift, everybody shifts in their role, in their way, in their
it's never the same
experience of
again.
the world. It's never the same. And part of that is the path we take. And part of that is because we are so affected by what happens to our loved ones and the loved ones of our loved ones and the loved ones of our loved ones' loved ones. So the little spidery, map where we're all connected by perhaps experiences those of us have had with people we know and love who've gone through cancer, or those we know whose own hearts have been touched as well. That does connect everybody here. Both of you have also been incredibly brave in your lives. I watched your video on the 10,000 Heroes website, and I was really moved by it and love that this is a way for you to be giving back as a person who went through Hodgkin's. Yes. And that is also part of your story, right? And being able to stand up and be brave and say, I want to fight, right? Or I want to move forward with light, depending on how you see it.
Right.
That takes bravery. Well, so does the discomfort of, okay, we're going to do this thing, we're throwing it together, and we hope all of our friends will show up, and we hope people will donate, and we hope we spill coffee, but not hot coffee, so we're not burned, because that would be bad. And, that bravery is not the absence of fear, right?
sure. It's
It's
the presence of
feeling the
fear.
fear and doing the scary thing anyway.
And going right through
And
it.
going through it. And that
old saloon doors always remind me of that.
Right.
Like,
that
you
right?
just slam them open.
slam 'em open.
Yeah,
I
and
believe
go
in
keep moving.
The energy of can't not do it.
Yeah,
Well, to me,
can't
that's
can't not,
part of my definition of a hero,
can't not.
right? That there is perhaps something that feels scary, but there's a good cause behind it. There's something that you want. There's a person you want to help.
Yeah.
There is a light you want to lift. There's a child you want to feed.
There's also a need that if I went through this, let there be a reason.
Let there be a reason.
Let there be a reason that I can make it better for someone else. If I had to go through this, what can I do for somebody else to not suffer as much?
And what do you do with the words? What do you do with these words? These words that have
We're
been-
joking on him. That's what we're doing.
I think it's also incredibly brave and heroic for both of you to show up with all of your truth. You know, you're not saying, this is a cause we believe in, it touched our lives, you know, let's give some money. You're both being very forthright about some of the most difficult things I would imagine you've gone through in your lives. And you're doing it as part of being whole and true and honest and authentic to connect, to give back, because it is personal for you. And because that is what can inspire someone to see, oh, this does touch people's lives, people who I care about, people who I admire. You know, both of you have done so much beautiful work, you know, storytelling and animation. And now anybody who's tuned in, anybody who didn't know your stories before, you have shared them.
Yep.
And that is also being a hero to me.
I didn't have Ugly Cry down for 10-10 on Sunday, but I think I'm going to go for that. That's beautiful, Julie. Thank you for that. That's incredible. That's leaving me speechless, which is a rare occasion.
Rare.
If you've been watching this for 22 hours, you know,
Rare.
that's not often.
Yeah. Isn't it fun that you picked this time?
God.
Coincidences.
You
I
know,
wanted to see you on Mother's Day.
whether you're watching this live or during the replay, if you're watching this and you're hearing this, everything Julie just said and everything that Collette and I just spoke from our hearts is for this. If you're watching, if this is resonating, join us, be a hero. It's right in front of you. Embrace that can't not do it. Embrace that something you can do. $5, $10. If you can hit the $100 mark and hit that hero, we've got some over and above heroes, whatever you can. If you're that person who's going to write that $135 million check, we will send you a t-shirt. I will pay the postage. And
In the right size.
in the right size. You know
Right?
what? I'll send you one of each, assuming you have a family that's like on those stickers in the back, that everybody's in different sizes. We love you guys, and we love you, Julie. Thank you. That has brought the light into the room. And